It's great to see you all. I hope you are enjoying your time at the IAC Summit.
Yeah.
Thank you. The big party's tonight. I'm Karen Bar-O. I'm the VP of Civic Engagement and Fighting Antisemitism for the IAC. And today we're moderating this special panel about those who are on the fight behind, not always behind, but behind the screen and the keyboards, and then they come to life. And we want to talk a little bit about that digital frontline and how that works. So we have Jonathan Elkhoury with me. Nataly Dadon. Daniel Ryan Spaulding.
Yeah.
And Zach Sage Fox. We will open to questions at the end, though I'm going to say from now, there's not going to be time for all of them. So we're going to try our best. So I want to start by hearing kind of your personal stories and how you got involved in this type of fight against anti-Semitism, fight for Israel, for the people of Israel. Some of you started post-October 7th, some of you before, but really kind of your personal story. Jonathan, let's start with you.
Hi, hello everyone. That's really loud. Hello everyone. I always say I've been in this field for about a decade now. And it started from basically sharing my personal story in Israel as an Israeli to my fellow Israeli citizens, because they don't really know anything about the South Lebanon army that fought with Israel for 18 years. As my dad, he fought alongside of the IDF for 18 years against the Palestinian Liberation Organization that was terrorizing us in Lebanon, and then against Hezbollah terrorist organization. And I wanted to reclaim back my story, my Lebanese story, my Israeli story, my Christian story, my LGBTQ plus story, because people didn't really know about it. People didn't really care, and there wasn't a lot of information. And it started from that. I did Hasbara for the South Lebanon Army in Israel. And from there, when I started being the spokesman for the Israeli Christian Recruitment Forum that fought to join the Christians living in Israel to the IDF, because our motto was, if Israel falls, we will fall, and if Israel succeeds, we will succeed. And this is a cycle that goes around. And we started receiving a lot of requests from international media asking us, why would you join the IDF that is an occupying force? Why would you serve a country that is oppressing you, that is actively mistreating you, and you don't have your full rights? And we started talking among ourselves, like, wait a minute, what is happening in the international kind of sphere? And since then, since 2015, you can say I started going on the ground to college campuses with DiploAct, combating anti-Israeli on campus. Making sure to show the true faces of the Israeli society that is not just Jewish, but also 25% of it is non-Jewish, that our voice wasn't there on the ground to stand against these anti-Israelis that are using us and using our name to attack Israel and to say that Israel has no right to exist. So we stood there in front of them for the last 10 years, and we said, not in my name. You don't represent us. We are full Israeli citizens, and we will fight for Israel's right to exist. And the rest of history.
Thank you. Thank you. Nataly.
Well, for me, it started as a mother. I think I was never involved too much. I never touched in this area. And first of all, it was not my comfortable zone because I was never speaking too much English at home. And then I started taking lessons, and I was literally felt like my voice is important. And I looked at my child as you felt it from the outside. I felt it from the inside. Like, it started with voices that I can't raise my Israel flag in Jerusalem. And I said, what's going on? Why can't I do it in Jerusalem? Why do I need to be afraid walking inside my house? Then I knew that whenever I wouldn't speak, there will be lies over there. And I felt like I'm in danger in my own country. And then I started to get to hear from outside. People were sending me to I have like 1 million followers, and they started to send me things that they are going through all over the world, and say, okay, something is going on. There is something, and it's not good. And I felt like I have a lot of responsibility. If I have this power, this platform, I need to use it. There is no other way. And once I started, you cannot shut it down.
And she's quite the boss lady on social media. Yes, Daniel Ryan.
Hello. Hello. Hi. So I grew up in Vancouver, Canada. Thank you. I'm not Jewish, but I grew up loving all of that great Jewish comedy and that Borscht Belt humor, like Seinfeld and Woody Allen movies. So I always had a real affinity for Jewish comedy and writers. And so I became a comedian in my 20s, and I moved to Europe. And so most of my adult life, I was living in Europe and traveling the world and touring, doing comedy. And I'd built a little global comedy career for myself. And I was living in Germany for 5 years, in Berlin. And that's where I met Israelis. And I got invited to go to Israel maybe about 5 years ago. And I didn't really know much about Israel. I didn't really understand the conflict. I had never really become friends with Israelis. I just didn't know anything. And I had gone to university and I traveled the world. But I knew that anytime you mentioned Israel, people got really angry. And it was like messy, and there was some sort of dispute about land, and there was Israel, and there was Palestine, and Palestinians were like held behind some sort of wall or something, and it's all very uncomfortable. But I kept meeting Israelis, and they were always so nice, and I thought, wow, how are you so nice when you're from this evil apartheid colonialist country? Like, what is that about? Why do you want to make me salads and sing songs in Hebrew when you're so evil? And so I decided to go because I thought, you know what, apartheid, schmartide, these men are fucking hot, okay? I'm going. So when you grow up in a multicultural society like Canada, you can't fathom radical Islamic jihad. You just can't. And I remember being at the border wall in Bethlehem and saying to my friend, why can't you just tear down this wall and live together peacefully? And he was like, well, there are terrorist regimes behind that wall in their territory, and they would come in and kill us. And I remember thinking, yeah, because you built the wall. That's why they're upset. And so my mind literally could not process this. And then finally, after having long conversations with my friends and understanding the history, it clicked for me. And I went, oh, it's Islam. It's jihad. It's Sharia law. That's why they're over there, because they're committing terrorism, because they're terrorists. They're terrorists. Okay, I get it. I get it now. And so... And then I thought to myself, why? I must have been the only person who thought that. I must have been the only person who didn't figure that out. How stupid am I, right? So I had worked really hard to sort of get my life together. I lost 200 pounds. I used to be very heavy. And I did a lot to I had a drinking problem too, so I got sober, I lost a lot of weight, and thank you, it's fine. So I was wrapping up a European tour, which was all about my weight loss and everything, and then I had an O1 visa. I'd worked really hard to get this O1 visa to move to New York City, and so I was gonna be doing my show off Broadway. And so I was wrapping up my European tour. I had a show in Tel Aviv on September 30th, and then October 7th happened. And I'm in shock, I'm reeling, and then I see lesbians I know in Brooklyn post pro-Hamas propaganda. And so I grab my cell phone and I get out into the street and I do this video and it goes viral, basically making fun out of these purple-haired girl Hamas lovers. This video goes viral. Little did I know, I had unearthed an ideological subversion threatening Western civilization. And this massive 40-year machine of Islamo-communist indoctrination I had just pierced through in a minute and a half. And I moved to New York, just sort of starting my life and running my show off Broadway, not realizing that I'm like in this city of psychopaths who are all plotting to overthrow like this insane alliance of Islamists and communists and Marxists and Cynthia Nixons, basically trying to overthrow New York City. And so I finally figure it out, and I figure out what's happening, and I decide, okay, you know what? I guess I'm gonna have to be a power gay and do whatever I can to save Western civilization and this holy Jewish nation. And so I basically take this and put it into the work that I'm already doing comedy videos and sketches, and I go to different, I did a lot for speaking at hostage events, and I just tried to like blend this activism into my career and be a part of a cultural change for Israel. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Is this on?
It is.
The lesbians love Hamas. They're the only men they like. Only men. All right, well, I give all you guys credit. All right, I was asleep at the wheel before 10/7. I thought everybody loved Jews. I think it's because like I was coming from Hollywood. I mean, we were in New York, but me and my business partner started a production company in high school. We met at Jewish day school, and like you know, we were like cocooned by all this like Judaism and Jewish community. And you know, I was in a Pi at UPenn, which is very Jewish. I was involved in Hillel, and we lived in LA, and everyone was Jewish. In New York, everyone was Jewish. And the people who started our career, we got a development deal with Disney when we were kids, and they were these Jews in Hollywood who seemed like they were pulling Jews up, you know, and it was this like beautiful chain. And I assumed that if something ever horrible happened, like a Holocaust-level event like 10/7, I assumed that all these Jews that I had looked up to and my business partner had looked up to, like Adam Sandler, Seth Rogen, you know, the list goes on and on and on. We assumed at least, I don't know, 90% of them would say something, and when 10/7 happened, they were all fucking silent. So we were like shocked. And I remember like us texting, and we're on the phone, we're watching the news, and we even like were saying to ourselves, like we were still ignorant for a few days. We were like, well, you know, it's really hard. Like, you know, Adam Sandler's just, he doesn't know what to say yet. He's taking it all in. He'll say something tomorrow. You know, Seth Rogen, I know he's not the biggest fan of Israel, but you know, he made his whole career about being Jewish. He made millions of dollars off being Jewish. Yeah, he'll have to say something. And I really think we thought there would be like a minimum tweet, and there was nothing from like 99% of them except maybe Amy Schumer and Seinfeld and Sacha Baron Cohen. Like that was it. And so I think like 5 days of just being frustrated and shocked, we had a production company, and you know, we were like doing pretty well for our, you know, we had just gotten like Forbes 30 under 30, USA Today ranked us like top 10, but we weren't like Spielberg. But if Spielberg wasn't gonna do anything with DreamWorks, then we were gonna do something with Fat Camp Films. So our mom sent us to Fat Camp. That's the origin story. Thank you. My business partner's mom is here if you guys want recommendations for Fat Camp. By the way, were you Ozempic? Was that your?
I had a gastric sleeve.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, there's so many, you don't even need Fat Camp anymore. But yeah, we were so frustrated. But we had worked with nonprofits before in the past, and so, but more on like voting, you know, stuff. And so our first thought was, let's go find our media partners, let's go get some donors together, and let's go partner up with some Jewish nonprofits, and let's just start making videos. Like the facts are all on our side. I was lucky enough to have been to Israel a million times, and so you know, everything they were saying I knew was BS. And so in that sense, it made it really easy. Like, I didn't think this was difficult. I'm sure you felt like, yeah, I'll just go say the truth, and it's obvious. I knew Israel wasn't an apartheid state. I knew it was the only democracy in the Middle East, and I knew what Hamas was. So we create this game show format called Hamas Or. I put myself in it. I'm in front of the camera and behind the camera as a producer a ton. But I put myself in front of it because I couldn't even find a schmuck to do it. Like, like no one, like everybody was terrified. And for whatever reason, I wasn't, and I was just like, screw it. And we did it, and the first video got like 30 million views. And that was crazy. Yeah. And like, I'll give us credit, it was a solid video, but it more said that there was this void, that the news, the media was just, they were not gonna tell the truth about this, and the facts needed to come out, and I knew if they kept coming out, they would explode. And so from there, I think the next video I went undercover as a Jew at one of these crazy Hamas rallies. We did that with F. Jerry, and then that got like 50 million views. And then we did a Gaza graduation video that went to Congress. That was crazy. I was like on the toilet, and everybody started sending me everything, and I was in the bathroom for an hour, very confused. And then, eventually I went to the West Bank. Everyone calls me brave. I call it retarded. It was pretty stupid. But yeah, from there, we've gotten about 10 billion views and impressions on all of our stuff. We've done, we created, with AJC, we created this amazing thing called Facts for Peace, which has been honestly one of the biggest data-driven initiatives to get the facts out about Israel and fight anti-Semitism in the country. And we actually just started our own nonprofit called Think Again. And we're really excited because, there's two kinds of people that sort of, you encounter when you meet the people who are screaming Free Palestine into the void. There's people who are really hateful, and like they genuinely just like hate themselves, and like if it wasn't Jews today, they would hate black people not that long. Like they're gonna find someone to hate. Those people, I don't know what you can do with. I think they always exist. There's no utopia. Like human history it's a pretty messy story. So I don't think you can change those people. But then there's people who genuinely don't know the facts. Sorry, three categories of people. There's people who don't know the facts, and when you tell them, they're very open to learning, and those people we've had a big dent with. But then there's another subsect of people. They've been brainwashed by foreign actors on TikTok and all social media to hate the West, to hate America. They've been lied to by their professors. They're literally living in the biggest democracy ever. They are so lucky to have the freedoms we all have, and they've been taught that everything around them is evil and terrible and colonial. I mean, it's disgusting, and it's a lie. And so we're now starting our own nonprofit, specifically so we can tackle more than just the Jewish stuff, because I think the Jewish-Israel thing, you hit a wall with some of those people, because the best argument to why Israel is amazing is it's the only democracy in the Middle East. It's, this bastion of freedom. But if you've been taught that, socialism is just as awesome as capitalism, and that Maduro, should be mayor of New York. If you've been taught these things and you really believe it, you're not going to be able to get people to love Israel, and you're not going to be able to fight anti-Semitism, I think, on its own. So, we're really excited about this new initiative, and find me if you guys are interested in getting involved and coming on as donors, and yeah, it's cool. So honestly, I think the power is that you can really use production to make things go viral. Bold ideas, Daniel's one of the funniest guys out there. If you put creativity behind the facts do go viral. So, yeah, that's what I've seen.
Thank you. Well, that's a perfect lead segment into our next question. So, the digital world has so much creativity into it. You need to be creative in order to get through the algorithm, but also over the noise. And so, Zach, you mentioned a few of the things that you did, and also Daniel Ryan, you are also using your humor. Nataly, as a model, someone whose followers came to see you, and
my body. You mean my body? Yeah, I know.
You said it, not me, but
then you go and dress, and what am I doing with this? No. I hear them, and I can tell you for sure I can go back and sell you some creams back. I'm so proud of you guys. Really, I'm sitting next to you, and hearing you makes me feel very good about being Jewish. So thank you so much, really.
So how is your background as a model, and what people followed you in fashion? What did you do creative, out of the box? A little bit of how do you present yourself to people using that kind of angle?
I'm always wearing, every time they tell me don't put signs when you fly somewhere, I put more. And just being a proud Jewish. And a special event that I remember was when I needed to fly right after the 7th of October to Berlin. And then I made a special designer from Israel made me a costume from, every time I speak about it, sorry, it makes me very emotional. It was made of a Zaka bag, the death bags from the 7th of October, sorry. And walking down the streets over there in Germany, where we know what we've been through there, the Jewish people, with blood on the bags, wearing this kind of outfit, make them look at me. They couldn't take their look. When these things that happened, you say, okay, no one's gonna be silenced. No, everybody will speak. You're sure of that? There can't be any situation when no one speaks. They don't speak for the woman that got raped. They don't speak for the things that happened to us. You don't speak for the little children that they put in the oven. It was things that makes me just want to scream, and it still makes me want to scream. But then when I walked in Berlin wearing this outfit, make those people look at me and cry with me was a big thing for me. I was literally felt like I took the fashion to the best side I could take it. It means a lot to me and to the Jewish people that there is no option for you to stay silent when this kind of things happen to us. Sorry, I'm very emotional.
We have to clap really loud in here so the other sides can hear, because we hear them clap. So you need to clap really loud. Thank you,
I'm
Nataly.
sorry.
Jonathan, so we talked a little bit here about fashion and humor, and you bring
I'm
something.
super fashionable, by the way.
Yes, you're fashionable and
With my
you're
boots.
funny. But you use your personal story and who you are and your authenticity to share with the world about you. What did you find that works? What resonates? I mean, I'm sure for most people, you're just that, friendly Arab that
The gay goy guy, basically.
the gay goy guy. That's just brainwashed and does what us mean Zionists tell you to do.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard every other slur that you can say to people. I've been called white colonizer. I've been called a Mossad agent. I've been called Uncle Tom, of course. A self-hating Arab and whatever. And then I tell them, first of all, I'm Phoenician, as Lebanese. But I try to bring my personal story every time to the table because I think this is one of the most important things that we can do to reach out to other people. It's not just to say slogans. It's not enough to say that Israel is the best country in the Middle East and the only democracy in the Middle East where minorities have rights not just to exist, but to be who we are. We don't have any glass ceiling that is stopping us from reaching the stars, literally the stars, and going and becoming astronauts. This is...
Are you trying to become an astronaut? Are you trying to become an astronaut?
Oh no, I have a flight fear, so I'm not gonna be. But this is where I bring my personal story and my experience. I remember one of the first ever things that my mom said after October 7th. She said, she was speaking with her friend on a phone, and then she said, what happened to us in Lebanon back in the 70s by Palestinian terrorists is the same thing that happened on October 7th to the Jewish communities in the Gaza envelope. And then it clicked to me even more the connection that I have as a Christian Lebanese person to the Jewish people. This history of survival in our DNA. Because I always remember that also when we speak about the second generation to the Holocaust survivors, they didn't hear the stories of their parents. They didn't hear what happened because the trauma was so hard on them that they didn't want to talk about it. And it happens also to my parents' generation. They didn't want to talk about our experience in south of Lebanon, about the persecution that we went through, about the blood that went through the streets because they just butchered everyone that came to be in front of them, those Palestinian terrorists that occupied my country. And then I remember that one of the first videos that I've done was in Arabic, reaching to the Lebanese public. In my Lebanese Arabic, speaking to them about our history, sharing with them, as they also shared later on, saying, why is Lebanon being involved in a war that has nothing to do with any Lebanese interests? And my first videos, for the first few months, my focus was the Arab world and the Lebanese public, because I needed to remind them what happened when an organization that is similar to Hamas, that was controlling us in south of Lebanon in the 70s, did to us. And that brought a lot of people in. The majority of my followings are people from Lebanon, from Syria, from Jordan, from Egypt, that a lot of them fled also because of that same reason of Islamic terrorists that persecuted them. And this is where we bring our humanity in. I always say that I have so many different identities that on one hand, they're a huge, I say, blessing, and on the other hand, they are a burden. The blessing is that I can see the world from so many different perspectives. As a Lebanese, as a Christian, as a minority living in a majority country, as part of the LGBTQ plus community, as a refugee. I came to Israel as a refugee, not someone who decided to do aliyah. My parents didn't move to Israel because they were such a huge Zionists. No, we fled for our lives because Hezbollah was persecuting us. And when Israel opened the border, Israel told us, now you're Israelis. You're part of us. That's why it's so important for me to go out and speak about Israel, about the only country in the whole world that helped the Christians of Lebanon, not the European countries.
Mic drop.
Thank you for that. Not the European countries, not America or Canada, not the Arab world. The Arab world just abused us. They just let them slaughter us. Only Israel came to help us. And for that, I will forever be thankful, because this is the only reason that I'm alive today, because of Israel. And the second one, when I say that it's a burden, because they keep on fighting with each other. You know, the Lebanese with the Israelis, they're literally fighting on the ground also. Being Christian and also gay, it's still kind of not really accepted by the Catholic and Greek Orthodox Church that I'm part of. But this is who I am, and using these identities, I reach out to people, because there's no matter where I go, one person that will be standing in front of me, he's gonna have one of those. A refugee, gay, or someone who came from the Middle East, someone who came from the West, from the Christian communities. And that's how I connect with people, with these dots that I connect with them. And then from there, we can go on and speak about Israel and supporting Israel.
Thank you, Johnny. Daniel, Ryan, I want to ask you a little bit about, Zach can give it to him, he's right next to him. Your use of humor. So you are a comedian, you're not Jewish, you use humor to defend our people, so thank you for that. Yes, you can. Do you get backlash? Like, did you have to change, or did you want to change the type of things you were talking about because people that used to that were your followers no longer, wanted to?
This is working, right?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that I think it took me a while to understand is that what has happened to the left in the Western world is that they've slipped into communism. And you can tell that based on their humor, because communists aren't funny. Communists aren't funny. Political correctness came from the Soviet Union. It was the idea of saying something that was true, and then people telling you that you can't say that. And you say, yeah, but it's true. It's correct. And they say, yes, but it's not politically correct. And if you look at all of these late night shows, Jimmy Fallon, Jon Stewart, it's essentially communist propaganda. It's anti-American, it is anti-Israel, and it's also the heart of the anti-Semitism on the left, I think, is a suppression of religion. And with freedom of religion is so important to free societies because with freedom of religion, you have freedom of expression, you have creativity, you have a connection with a higher power and with God. Having a connection with God, having spirituality in your life helps you, first of all, excel at capitalism. It helps you build a good life for yourself. And so that suppression of religion and that awful, terrible anti-Semitism in the left really is a suppression of all the wonderful things that come from having freedom, from having joy and love in your life and humor, and it's so ugly and it's so awful and it's just so disgusting and no one likes it and we want it to just fucking stop, We just want it to fucking stop. And so a lot of the sort of anti-woke counterculture is coming from that hate, that need to sort of kick that political correctness, that woke shit, if you will, in the butt. And so yeah, like being gay and being stereotypically on the left and in those culture spaces with all these freaks, definitely like I've had to deal with a lot of crap. I've had to deal with death threats. I've had to deal with people like just massive character assassination, massive bot attacks, and also lots of hatred and slander from left-wing Jews, both in the Western world and in Israel, because they're all ideologically captured too. And so yeah, it sucks. But, what am I going to do? I want to say what I want to say and be who I am, and this is what I think, and this is what I believe in, and these are the facts right there. You can all see there is a person called the Ayatollah. He's not a nice person. Like, what do you want me to do?
And so, you'll always have the Israeli men, as you said.
Exactly. So, I don't know a single gay man in a big city in Europe that isn't wondering, what is my life going to look like in 10 or 15 years? Wow. Am I going to be able to walk down the street holding hands with my husband? Am I going to be able to safely raise a family? This is the reality that Europe is facing right now. If we could all just get people to wake up and see what's happening in these European countries, what Israel has had to deal with for the past 50 years is what Europe will have to deal with for the next 50 years. This is what we need to explain to people.
Thank you. So Zach, you do a lot of videos. You mentioned a few. I mean, I saw one where you were standing with a hostage and this person was just like, oh, the hostages didn't suffer. So my question to you is, what was the most ridiculous moment or funniest moment or something that someone said to you during one of those videos? We're all wondering, things that aren't on video, what was that moment?
There's so many.
Give us two. Give us a few. Give us a peek.
Imagine shooting and interviewing idiots for 3 hours and you have to condense it into 3 minutes. It's not easy. I honestly think I have a video coming out next week. I went undercover as a queer for Palestine. I think it might be one of my best videos yet. It's pretty nuts. It's just there's so many parts. It was in Australia, and I shot it a few months before what had happened at Bondi. And it was crazy because I honestly, I think their far left is even more cartoony than our far left. They're a notch more, and they don't have the massive, mainstream media from the West there. So they were it was super easy to just penetrate their rally. But honestly, I think the craziest thing, there's a million things I could say happened, but I think the craziest thing is that I'm out there, I'm literally with a septum ring, a COVID mask, my long hair, I have a giant shirt that says Queer for Palestine. I look like an actual cartoon character. And for 3.5 hours, no one thought I was fake. And that was shocking. So I think it's that, and then also just interviewing. There was a moment where I've been interviewing this trans person, and I have nothing against trans people, but they're wearing a keffiyeh over their spiky collar. So that was an interesting fashion choice. And I actually got them to do Chuck, Fuck, Marry with Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. And they still continue to do
I
the
hope
interview with
Hezbollah
me.
won.
No.
No?
Well, okay. They said that
The
they
Lebanese
would,
are the best.
Yeah, I think
Like,
it was.
no.
I think it was fuck Hamas because they're the hottest, and then I think it was marry Hezbollah, and the Houthis they didn't know so much about, so which is fair. You want to get to know someone first. Which I said, there's so many. I think, did you guys see that video went so viral? The video I did where I went undercover as a Mamdani canvasser. I think there was one moment, every now and then you're talking to someone and you know that 30 million people are going to see this conversation. And there was this heavy set, again, nothing against fat people, I went to fat camp, but this heavy set white woman who, I'm sitting there and I'm going over all of Mamdani's stuff and I'm like, yeah, he refused to sign Holocaust legislation. And she's like, meh. And I remember being like, yeah, do we really need that? And she's like, yeah, we're good. And it was in that, I knew that clip was going to break the internet because it was just everything that Daniel was saying about the far left and the just stupidity and the point where you actually cross from, I think you go from thinking you're such a good person, right? So you're like Mamdani, Muslim, brown, yes, I'm just gonna say yes to everything about him to the point where you don't even realize you are evil. You've actually crossed a line from stupidity to actual being a villain. You're the villain now. And I'm so happy that clip went viral. I don't know what happened to that woman. I hope she got fired from whatever job she has. But there's so many. I think probably the moment was the most I'm really proud of because when I went to the West Bank and almost got kidnapped and beheaded, they made us delete a bunch of footage or else we would be kidnapped and beheaded. And I didn't want that to happen, so I deleted the footage. And then I had a former Mossad agent get it back. It's I know. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's the best irony. But there was that conversation I had with that one girl. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was in the part 2 when we got almost all of the deleted footage back. And I'm so proud of this moment because you have this woman, I went to Ramallah, and it's really built up. I think that was the part that shocked me. It looked, honestly, it was nicer than most parts of Tel Aviv, if I'm going to be completely honest. From all the rockets, Tel Aviv could use some renovation.
Even before the rockets.
Yeah. And I'm talking to this girl, and she's literally dressed in Gucci, Gans, she's in the most designer clothing you could imagine. And she's telling me that she's a refugee. And I asked where she lived. You guys can see this clip. It's great. And I was just really proud of this moment because I really pushed her on it. And I was just you really think, do you live in tell me about the house. She's like, I live in a beautiful house. It's really nice, great apartment with my family. And I'm like, you really think you can be called a refugee? And then I was like, you can't, do you think the Haddad sisters are refugees? And she's like, yes, and they're just dying to come back here. And the second Palestine's free, they're going to come back. I was like, these people are worth 50. You're out of your fucking mind, honey. But I'm really proud of that moment because I think honestly, if there was anything from that video that went viral, I think that conversation, those 20 seconds of that back and forth, I think summarizes so much of the hypocrisy of this movement, which is, it's not that this is some great place, whenever I say Palestine, I get attacked, Judea, Samaria, but it's not like this situation is good, but part of the problem is these guys are, today could be beautiful. It's not they're all in refugee camps. They're in an apartment, but they've been tricked to have this mentality that they're stuck in some warfare when the reality is not really that bad. And I'm not saying it's not great, and I would dream for a world where we can all live in peace and their conditions could be even better. But when you're at a point where the Hadid sisters are refugees and they're the face of the movement, where do you even start the conversation? So I think that was a moment that really shocked me, and I'm really glad that got out there.
Thank you, Zach. So Nataly, you're a powerful woman. You have a strong voice. You're very bold online. I wonder about pushback. You obviously get pushback, threats. How does that feel? Have you ever been intimidated to saying, I don't want to do this anymore? Or does that even make you feel stronger?
It always takes me back to being a mother. When you get messages that I can't even say those words because it's so hard to say them, but it gets to my son and what they will do to him, and then you say, okay, maybe I should stop here, maybe I should go further, but as I said before, you can't really stop. The first thing I did was getting a weapon in Israel. I'm carrying a gun. I'm not going anywhere without him. I never in my life ever thought that this will be my reality as a woman in a Jewish country, in Israel, carrying a gun, but I did it. I feel more safe that way. Especially when you're hearing all the horrors of October 7th. And that they were inside their home, slaughtering, and there is no way to protect your family. So that day I decided to carry a gun. A lot of people in Israel now carrying a gun, but I don't think we should accept this reality. We need to fight more and more, and once we're gonna be afraid or let this fearness win, we're gonna lose ourselves.
Thank you. Jonathan, and then we're going to open up for questions a little bit, okay? So, as an Arab voice, and you're saying you speak in Arabic, you spoke to the Arab community, what type of backlash are you getting? Like we said it, we joked a little bit at the beginning that you're the Zionist gay goy, but more than that, I mean, you're traveling on campus, you're seeing people. How does that feel? What type of hate are you getting? Some of the liberals that, both of you have talked about, you're seeing them, you're basically the live version of why they're wrong. And how does that work?
Yeah, I have to say it's super frightening, but we must do it. We can't let ourselves not be there on campus or everywhere in front of them. Because although social media is so important, but being present on the ground, I see it as 10 times more important. Because if you're not there on the battlefield in front of them where people can see that you're there also protecting yourself, then that means that there's something wrong. And I will never accept that. That's why I put a lot of emphasis on being on the field, speaking with people. I've been spat on, I've been kicked, I've been yelled at, I've been escorted by police, by the campus police for safety reasons.
Hezbollah made a video about you.
Hamas.
Oh, even
Hamas
better.
published a video about me after October 7th. Like on the 30th of October. 2 weeks after October 7th, because we've made such an impact doing videos in Arabic to the Arabic public and then doing interviews with the Arabic media around the world and doing a lot of fuzz around that, that Hamas published a video not only on Gaza Now, it's also a Qatari network that funded it and created it, basically targeting us, sharing our names and our information and everything. Even my phone number was shared online. They really doxed me, sharing all of my personal information, and that's scary. The same day that Hamas published their video, I was right on my way to the airport with DiploAct, with the first ever delegation after October 7th, because we felt the need that we need to do something. We can't just sit here, just share online. We need to be there on the ground where everything is happening right now. So we flew the first ever delegation after October 7th. We went to NYU, we went to Columbia University, we went also to Harvard, UPenn. Is this like people telling us that we need to go to sleep?
The next room controls the lighting.
Oh.
So we'll just pretend they wanted a more intimate version.
It's romantic,
for us.
exactly.
We did have someone go ask to see if they can fix that. If you can hear me in the next room, can you please turn up the lights a little bit? We'll see if that works. No, it doesn't.
So being there for the ever first time, although all of this kicking, spitting, yelling was before October 7th, but then suddenly, after October 7th, we have dog sniffers that came to our events to make sure that no one put explosives. I remember I was in Boston doing some events with the Jewish community there. I went outside of my hotel room, and I remember seeing the ripped posters of the hostages. Few days after they were put on, the beginning of the war, there's no way you already turned against Israel because we didn't even respond in Gaza yet. And then I understood like our responsibility is way higher than we think it is. And we have to continue on doing something. We can't just let it go. And this is, I don't consider myself as someone, oh.
Let there be light.
I don't consider myself, oh. We're gonna continue like that for the next hour.
This is all planned, it's part of it. It's for the good video footage after.
Oh.
Jews are a light in the darkness. We're abiding the rules.
So, okay, I think now we're okay.
Johnny, you're just way over time.
Yeah, it looks like it. But yeah, this is kind of where I went on and continued on even more. I have an arrest warrant against me from the Lebanese government that was published back in 2020, mid-COVID. Like, there's nothing else to do. There's an economic crisis in Lebanon. Everyone is in quarantine. No one is allowed to go. But the Lebanese military court issued an arrest warrant against me for 15 years of labor work. And I don't do labor work, honey. And I always say that my dad fought for 18 years alongside of the IDF to protect us and to protect Israel. And I'm doing the same thing today. I can't hold a rifle, but I have a big mouth, and I'm gonna use it.
Thank you. It's an opportunity to thank each and every one of you. I mean, some of us have to, but I mean, it's the allies who even more than that. So just thank you. I mean, you have to, Johnny. You're Israeli, but Daniel, Ryan, thank you.
They're talking about the goys.
The voice. Okay, so we're going to open up for a few questions. We don't have much time, so I am going to just ask for a favor. Be light on the statements, stick to the questions, keep them short, and we're going to do like a lightning answers so that we can try to give as many people as possible time. Okay, let's give one of the microphones, and that way we'll really have to be on time. Thank you.
We don't need a microphone, basically.
Well, you'll be. No, there's one. It's fine. You'll be good. Okay. Let me, Shirley, pick someone out. Go for it. Putting the pressure not on me.
Hi. Sorry. Well, it's very hard. I'm trying to like stick to everything that I want to say in like a minute. So, give me a second. I've been in New York for the past 15 years. I just want to take a brief second, specifically to Daniel and Jonathan. As a non-Jew, supporting that's, someone that's not a part of your direct circle is just beyond me. Really, I just want to say thank you. I do have a question, though. I want to keep the energy high and beautiful, but I have a question that might be a little dark. We're talking a lot about territorial war and ideological war, and I'm a therapist, and I'm seeing what's happening online with social media, and it is terrifying. And I don't mean this as a joke, but I look at people like Greta Thunberg, she's unwell. But because of her and her following, this is the truth. We are growing a massive amount of people that are choosing to believe a horrible and untrue narrative. What are we to do?
Do you have someone specific you want to answer that question?
I'd like to hear from Daniel again because he's...
Go, Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Lightning
I think that
round.
we need to form a very broad coalition of Jews, Christians, Hindus, Iranians, Indians, anyone who has been directly affected by Islamism, and then also people who have been affected by communism. And keep it to being about freedom and about Western values and Enlightenment values, and being against Islamism and Arab Islamism, because that's ultimately the thing that unites all of us. Is that I hate to break it to you, but if you don't want to live under Sharia, you're a Jew. That's the message we should get across. That it's about living in a free world. That's the message. But the problem is that people are so weak. People are so weak and they lack courage, and the people that are brave are being silenced, and we're allowing them to be silenced. We're not amplifying the people who are brave, and we're not encouraging bravery. We're encouraging the Ilana Glazers of the world. Exactly. So we need to, the Jewish community needs to rally behind the people who have rallied behind them. Period.
Okay, there's you, and then Shirley, maybe go in the back after her.
So just quickly, first of all, thank you all for the work that you're doing, and we so appreciate everything that you do, and we know that you're putting yourselves out there every day, but also putting yourselves in the line of fire for us, and we so appreciate it. My question specifically is more for Daniel or Zach. You have provided us with endless hours of entertainment and great viral content that has lifted our spirits and given us so much a feeling of unity and joy, and we appreciate that. But there's also some criticism in the community that it's an echo chamber. Like, a lot of this content we are sharing and we are liking and we are spreading is other like-minded people. My question for you is, have you ever encountered people in these interviews or on the street who have actually perhaps changed their minds or approached you afterwards after seeing themselves and thought, wow, this is ridiculous?
Yeah, I can answer both those actually with two cool stories. So for one, the stuff we're doing, very data-driven. Like Facts for Peace, as I said that at the beginning, it's the most data-driven social media operation doing this, and we follow the data religiously. And the data is not shocking, by the way. Part of the data is showing that you need non-Jews to speak on behalf of this issue too. And so we're constantly, we go in the direction of what's working. So when we do a video and it's tested through the roof that it actually moved people to be more pro-Israel or more, anti-Semitism. That's the worst analogy ever, but you get it. Then we keep going in that direction, and we're at a point now where we pretty much are coming up with ideas that we know are going to move the needle right away. And a really beautiful story. So when I got back from the West Bank, we did a video where it was, we put a table for me and in Washington Square Park, also Antisemitism Park. But we put a table and it said, I just went to Palestine, in quotes, ask me anything. And a Palestinian girl ended up sitting down with me, and it was a surprise to me. And she was this beautiful girl, inside and out. And we had a really productive, beautiful conversation. And, there's always that moment where you're right, is this just for the cameras? She knows that millions of people are going to see this. She knows I have a big platform. Are they just kind of saying stuff? And it was this really funny moment, after the shoot then, because she was at the beginning, so I hadn't seen her for 2 hours. And I'm walking back home, and I'm on the phone with my grandma, and I was telling her, I was I met this amazing Palestinian girl, and we were talking about my trip to Palestine. And it was beautiful. And honestly, I actually think we had a super productive conversation where she actually saw where I was coming from. And she seemed to actually have gained some new insight from where I was coming from. And as I'm having this conversation, the girl runs up to me. She's like, wait, I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm telling her the exact same thing. I was just saying how amazing it was to talk to a Zionist and a Jew, and I learned a lot, and it was just this beautiful moment where it was all right, we're actually you do the work and the results do come with it. So
that's a great story.
I wouldn't lose hope. I will say this, and I'll end it with this: social media is the biggest weapon that's hit the Jewish people genuinely for probably ever in human history. Goebbels, this would have been his wet dream to have this. This is a really powerful way to indoctrinate people. 20 years ago, China, Iran, they couldn't have reached middle schoolers in America and propagate them. But we also can harness that and use it to our advantage, So again, we can make the truth go viral. We can build bridges in a viral way too. So I wouldn't be too discouraged. I actually have a lot of hope for the future if we can rally behind the right causes and the right algorithms.
Thank you, Zach. Okay, I'm gonna, one more question in a sentence, no statements. Sentence question. They already have a microphone. Go.
Jonathan, you're so brave. What message do you have for other Arabs to stand up for Jews?
Great question.
That's an amazing question. First and foremost, the Jews has always been there to the Arabic public in their original countries in the Middle East, where they had to flee eventually. They were always there. They were always in the center. Yesterday, I was sitting on a panel with the Sharaka delegation that went to Auschwitz last April for the March of the Living. Fatima El-Harbi is here. Fatima, stand up. Fatima El-Harbi. Fatima is, or Fatme in Arabic, not Fatima. Fatme is the director of Sharaka in Bahrain. And this is one of the most amazing initiatives that started after the Abraham Accords, of that need to not just keep the Abraham Accords as leaders making agreements between the countries, but from people-to-people connection. And one of the most incredible initiatives is bringing people from the Arab world, from Morocco, from Bahrain, from the UAE, also people from Saudi Arabia that has another passport, Egypt, people, people that come from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen. All of these people, more than 30 of them in last April, walked by the March of the Living to tell also to the Jewish community worldwide, thank you.
They'll get over it.
To tell,
Always when
to
Johnny
tell
talks.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, here you go. I talked it
I
lit.
don't know what that
You talked it
means.
went down. But basically, telling the Jewish community that we're here for you, we're gonna stand beside you, we're gonna walk with you to safety. This is our message. This is Sharaka's message, and we're bringing so many people that knows nothing about the Jewish community, that knows nothing about Israel, and they're all been brainwashed by Al Jazeera or other anti-Israeli propaganda machines, and they're finally learning the truth in their own eyes. And this is what's important, and I think that this is how we reach out more to the Arabic public by telling them at the end of the day, when we are safe, you are going to be safe. The Jewish people stood by every oppressed community in the world.
Thank you, John.
Yet after October 7th, all these organizations that the Jewish community stood by for decades left. And we are trying to say right now that no, we're going to stand by the Jewish people as they stood by us, and we're going to continue on doing that.
Thank you. So on that positive note, I'm going to, you opened the last, with one sentence, kind of your last one sentence. You can do it, I know. For the future, kind of, to end with a positive note, giving people hope. What can you do? The world isn't that bad. Nataly, we'll start with you.
Okay, I think I'm the best example for someone who hasn't had any tools, like from taking the English lessons and using everything I could use. I can tell everyone's matter, even if you think you're a small account, even if you think you don't have power on social media, you do have, and you can start with something. Every voice counts, so do your best and trust God.
Zach?
Yeah, I would say like social media, I really believe is like the key to saving the West. I really, really do. And yeah, if you're interested in working with my new nonprofit, Think Again, try to find me. I have to run really quick after this to another panel. But yeah, would love to get as many donors involved as possible and just keep getting the truth viral. And I agree with her. Anyone can start with an iPhone and just get creative and get smart and use that big Jewish brain or that big ally brain and just make the truth go viral because it's ready.
Yes.
Daniel Ryan?
I would say if you're a Democrat, switch to the Republican Party and vote for Marco Rubio. Let's set it up. Rubio, Rubio, Rubio.
This is not an official endorsement, as they say. Don't get us in trouble. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. John.